science's most terrifying answer to the Fermi Paradox. When you look up at the night sky, what do you see? Stars, right? Billions of them in our galaxy alone. And we now know that trillions of planets are orbiting those stars in the perfect spot for life to exist. The universe, by all accounts, should be absolutely buzzing with life. So when we point our telescopes out and listen, why is it so quiet? This question is known as the Fermi Paradox, and it's one of the biggest puzzles in all of science. But what if the answer has been hiding in plain sight all along? What if the silence isn't empty, but is actually a warning? And what if the reason we don't see any sprawling alien empires is because something is wiping them out before they can get started? The truly terrifying part is we might be next on the list. Back in 1950, the brilliant physicist Enrico Fermi was walking to lunch with some colleagues when he casually asked a question that has pretty much haunted us ever since. Where is everybody? He wasn't talking about his friends. He was talking about aliens. Think about it. The universe is almost 14 billion years old. Our galaxy alone has up to 400 billion stars. It seems like a statistical certainty that life should have popped up all over the place. And with billions of years of a head start, at least a few of those life forms should have evolved, developed technology, and started spreading out. We should be seeing something: radio signals, giant solar panels around distant stars, probes zipping through our own solar system. But we see nothing, just empty space. This gap between the high probability of alien life and the complete lack of any evidence for it is the Fermi Paradox, and it leads us to a seriously chilling idea. One of the most compelling explanations for this silence is a theory called the Great Filter. Imagine the development of life from a single-celled organism all the way to a galaxy-conquering civilization as a long, dangerous obstacle course. To get to the end, you have to pass through a series of filters. These are major evolutionary and technological hurdles, like the origin of life itself, the jump from simple cells to complex ones, the evolution of intelligence and tools, and eventually the ability to travel between stars. The Great Filter theory says that at least one of these steps is so ridiculously hard, so impossibly unlikely to overcome, that it acts like a wall. Almost no life in the universe ever makes it past this point. The cosmos is quiet because almost no one survives the journey. And the biggest question for us is, where is that filter on our own timeline? There are really only two ways this can go. The first possibility is an optimistic one. The Great Filter is behind us. This would mean that one of the steps we've already taken was the nearly impossible one. Maybe the initial spark of life is just incredibly rare. Or maybe they jump from a single cell to complex life, like plants in the Armuza step that took about 1.5 billion years on Earth is the barrier that almost no one crosses. If that's true, then we are unbelievably special. We could be one of the first, or maybe even the only, intelligent species to have ever made it this far. In this scenario, the silence of space isn't a threat, it's an open invitation. The universe is an empty frontier, and it could be ours for the taking. But then there's the second, much darker possibility. The Great Filter is still ahead of us. This would mean that the silence we hear is the sound of every other civilization that got to where we are now, and then failed. They hit a wall they couldn't get past. This wall could be a test we haven't faced yet, like nuclear cell, uncontrollable artificial intelligence, or runaway climate change. If the filter is in our future, then the silence of the cosmos is a graveyard. It's evidence that civilizations like ours are destined to burn out before they ever reach the stars. We're not the first to try. We're just the next in line to face the test that it seems no one has ever passed. This is what makes the Great Filter so terrifying. The fact that we don't see alien megastructures or hear their radio signals isn't just a curiosity. It's a piece of data. It's evidence that something is preventing civilizations from getting that advanced. Here's a thought experiment that flips everything on its head. Finding simple life on Mars, like bacteria, would be the absolute worst news humanity could ever receive. Why? Because if life starts easily on other planets, it means the early steps on the obstacle course aren't the filter. That would make it much more likely that the filter is a later one that is still waiting for us. So, where is everybody? The Great Filter gives us two stark choices. Are we the first ones through the gauntlet, having already conquered the single greatest challenge in the universe just by being here? Or are we just the next civilization rushing toward a final, unavoidable doom that has already claimed countless others. The silence of space is asking us a question. It's telling us that our survival isn't a given, and that the choices we make right now, how we handle our technology, our planet, and each other could be the ones that decide our fate. Our future isn't just about reaching for the stars. It's about proving we're worthy of passing the one test that, so far, everyone else seems to have failed. What do you think is the right answer? Is the great filter behind us, or are we about to face it? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you like thinking about these massive, cosmic questions, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the universe.